We'll call it to order and pledge allegiance by Commissioner Christensen.
Please stand. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Commissioner Chamberlain, would you want to give us an opening prayer?
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful that we can gather this evening to discuss the affairs of the Planning Commission in the city of Tocqueville. We ask for thy guidance and wisdom as we discuss things. Please help us to think of the right questions to ask and help us be inspired of good solutions to any challenges that we encounter. We're grateful for all the wonderful citizens of our town and all those who serve to make our city a great place. And thank thee for all the many blessings thou pours out upon us. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And now we'll have, if anybody else wants to have some time for some different beliefs or make a statement. Thank you. Okay, number 4, A4, disclosure declaration of conflicts from any commissioners with any member with any items that's on the agenda tonight. Does anybody have any conflict? Okay.
I do not.
No conflicts. I do not either. Okay, so item B, approval of the agenda was ordered. Did everybody have a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the agenda order.
I second that.
We got a second? Jenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, consent agenda, review and approve. Review and possible approval of the minutes, the meeting minutes from July 9th, 2025, Planning Commission meetings. Everybody have a chance to review those? Is there any corrections, deletions, or I read them? Didn't have any problems with them? We have a motion for approval.
I'll motion that we approve the agenda from last meeting, July 9th, 2025.
I second that.
We got a second.
The minutes. Yeah,
We have
the
a second.
agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Abstain, who wasn't present.
the abstention, one's abstention. Okay, thank you. Okay, business item D, planning commissioners. Does planning commissioners have anything that they want to bring up? Any information, any thing that they want to discuss right now before the board and the
I
public?
don't have anything.
Nothing?
I don't.
Nothing? Okay. Nothing to declare or want to. Okay, then, planning and zoning administrator, Emily Kagan. Emily.
Updates besides what we have on the agenda tonight. We're still working on some code amendments to the sign ordinance. We're doing some land use violation corrections for enforcement. That was at the request of our city prosecutor. So that you'll see probably at the next meeting. And then the ADU code, I'm continuing to work on that. Also been updating some of our land use applications to match the recent ordinance changes, including the temporary use permit, created an application for that. And
What was that again?
the temporary use permit,
Okay.
created an application for that. And we're still updating as we get applications, the subdivision applications to make sure they're compliant with that big code that we passed last year. Mary and John, Mary, our licensing and permitting, and John, our building official, met with some representatives from Firelight to talk to them about building permits. So in the legislature last year, they passed some updates for identical plans just to help those things get through the plan review process quicker. So we're working with them to try to help once they're able to submit more plans, make sure that those permits get through as quick as possible, which will help the city get those impact fees in and everything.
Are they making sure they don't put them next door to each other?
Some of them are, some of them seem a little bit more random, which is
Oh, okay,
interesting.
'cause I've
Yeah,
seen that happen.
yeah.
Good Lord.
They're pretty close.
Year to date, we've had 45 building permits issued, which I think, I didn't check, is close to what we had for the entire year last year. 18 of those are just for single family homes. I think we're up to maybe 15 at this point for Firelight, and they can go up to 22 right now. In the last 30 days, we've had 13 building permits issued, and 4 of those were for Firelight. And then elections, just a quick election update. Primary election is now over. We did not have one. So we're going to start with our election events. We're planning a meet the candidates night. I don't have a date for that yet, but I should hopefully in the next week or so. Then we'll announce that maybe at City Council next week. But that'll be here at Town Hall. Everyone will get a chance to meet the candidates. They'll introduce themselves, and then you can chat with everyone about whatever you have questions about. And then a reminder for anyone who is running that your first financial disclosure is due on October 7th. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Emily? Thank you. Darren, item number 3, Assistant Manager. Darren?
Yeah, so really just the update on engineering projects and projects happening inside of Tokerville. As the IME that continues, if you've gone out there lately, they've started to set some walls and a little bit farther. They are coming right along. They're hoping to open at the first of the next year and actually start doing their robotics things that they have there. The next, then that, for those of you who can't remember which one that was, that's the one that's on Anderson Junction Road going out towards the other area. Continuing to work with the water district to try to help with some different aspects of the water system in Anderson Junction, as well as other areas in Tokerville City. The big things that we're seeing right now is Boulder Ridge on the other side. They have pretty much completed all their grading for phase 1. They do have a grading permit to do grading on what was their old windmill site where they had windmills. And so they can move forward doing that. But they wanted to start putting in infrastructure in the ground. We need just a couple of small things from them still, a bond for things in the public right of way. But they should, I anticipate that letter of credit and bond should be here anytime. I was expecting it to be here today. The developer called me and said, hey, there was a small thing with names or something. Anyway, we should have that soon. And we'll start to see them start putting in sewer lines, water lines, different things like that, relocating water lines. And so moving forward on that project as just part of the construction of it. The next thing, as you can see on the north tie-in, the contractor has said that they're hoping to have construction done by the middle of September. I'm looking just at that. I meet with them tomorrow. I think that's going to be pushed just about a 2-week time frame. But there is with a possibility within the next 3 weeks to see possibly a little bit of traffic on the parkway to help, just maybe one way or the other, to help them with the logistics of those tie-ins. The north end, you see they've got that all rotomilled and all dug up. That's to tie the new lanes into the existing lanes that are on the parkway. So it's coming along pretty quick. You'll see them starting to build that ramp on the north end here within the next 2 to 3 weeks. When that's the ramp that will tee into the new direction of the parkway. Nice thing, the south end is open, 2-way traffic, as we're not stopping down there right now. And you can very much see the logistics of how that will tie in. As you go down the ramp, you can see the little white paint stripes, so you can kind of distinguish where those lines, they just haven't painted them yet until they get back. They've got some work still to do on that south end, making the asphalt wider just before it comes into Trail Ridge, and then they'll have to rebuild that intersection a little bit at Trail Ridge as well, and then restripe. So things are moving along. The natural gas is going through the cut right now through the south end. They're going up to the Firelight, so they're actually trying to get through the cut, and as soon as they get through the cut, they'll kind of be going up past Shangri-La, the new Shangri-La Road, and then they're going to try and go up on their property and get out of the parkway as quick as possible.
So at Trail Ridge, will they put from this way going south, they'll have a good turn middle lane to get into Trail Ridge?
Yeah, so if you'd like, I can come in sometime. I'll show you the striping plans that they have there. So then the project actually goes to the south side of the entrance of Trail Ridge.
How about when you come into Shangri-La right now?
So right
There's-
now, yeah, you can see what's there now. That is exactly as it will be striped.
So it's wide enough to get a right-hand turn going south and then a left-hand turn
Yeah.
medium that they have.
Yeah, I don't have pictures. I wish I should have went and took pictures for you, but you can, the way it's striped right now is the way that it will be here shortly. And it's not changing. So basically, from the bridge to the just about, 800 feet short of the tie-in on the north, the parkway is complete, essentially through that area. So,
And then one of my other concerns is making sure that there's no signs or anything that blocks the visual view from Trail Ridge or Shangri-La getting out on that road, because they're coming down pretty fast. And when you have to hit out of Shangri-La, you got to really punch it, making sure traffic both ways. Of course, you're supposed to wait,
yeah.
but that traffic's flying 50 miles an hour. Are they going to reduce that speed all the way down, or are they going to keep it at
So
40?
the parkway will be 50 as it comes right now on that south end. It is 50 miles, as it's always been 50 miles an hour. It's been that way for a lot of years. They're going to continue to have that same speed limit of 50.
That's what worries me, because of the so fast coming, slinging through there. And then we have to shoot out
Yeah.
to make sure we don't get T-boned.
Will there be a traffic light at the south end at some point?
At some point, when the traffic counts get to the point where they need to, then yes, there would be another traffic lights. But when that time frame is, I don't know.
But that's still all under state jurisdiction, state highway.
It is state highway. It's all under UDOT's those regulations, state regulations, and their requirements. When the speed limit was put on those, it was based on a curve, a radius of the curves through the new parkway, as well as the existing, because basically coming through the S turn, you've got, it slows down, but geez, you hit 60 miles an hour coming down there right now is what that speed limit, once that becomes Tokerville cities, we'll be able to take and slow those down or perform.
So they haven't considered, okay, so let me ask you another concern. If we're coming off of Shangri-La, turning, coming back to town, the turn lane has a good turn lane coming into Shangri-La to the left,
Yes.
but there,
It doesn't have an acceleration lane.
That's-
None of those, nor does Westfield Road. Thank you.
Trail Ridge
So-
either.
Um,
So who do we
And
make
Trail Ridge.
comments to NDOT, UDOT?
so it'd be UDOT is going to be who, and the design does not have those in it right as of right now. Based on, I don't know what studies or things like that were done. That was all done, all the design, all of that was done before I began working here.
That's going to kill people. I say that's going to kill people if they don't get something changed. Okay.
All I can do is enforce what's on the plans right now.
I understand.
And that's what I'm going for. I have to,
I mean, you live there,
Or
I
at
live
the,
there,
I live there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Trail Ridge is just going to be just as bad because they come right off that sling coming through that pass, the Trail Ridge right there. So I did drive out there the other day. Looks like they're pulling power and putting those transformers along the,
It's actually it's not power. Rocky Mountain Power is already in there.
Oh.
It'd be the TDS
Oh.
in efforts to get the line down across the cut that you still see there. The other one you're seeing is Enbridge Gas, used to be Dominion Energy. And before that was, in the very olden days was something.
Questar?
That was Questar was CenturyLink. No. Anyway, yeah.
so do you have a proposed date when they're going to drop that line across?
I was actually talking to him this morning in our joint utility meeting, and she said she does not have a date because so when they went to pull their infrastructure up Shangri-La Drive below my home there, that conduit had been in the ground for over 15 or 20 years. And so they had a pretty good struggle, but they were able to get it. They've removed a couple of sections of sidewalk to get it access to it. So, but there's little things like that that keep setting them back a little bit. Just where they thought they had path, it's not there, and they've had to either bore it or do some different things such as that. And every utility has had to come through the north there of Trail Ridge and then under the existing lanes. And so those existing lanes now have quite a few utilities in them. So, but it continues then on up through the parkway. If you go look at the utility bridge there, there's probably a dozen different conduits for different utilities and things. So it was planned for those utilities there. Just
On a side note, I'm grateful for the information on the
signs.
The signs of the stop coming.
We've been doing our best with working with the contractor to let everybody give them a heads up. The big thing is always getting from the contractors, saying, when are you doing this? When are you doing this? When are you doing this? And so there's a couple of times we actually went out and put the signs up, and then they went back and said, hey, well, we're not going to be there then. So we pulled them off as quick as we could. So we didn't want misinformation to the public, and we're doing our best to keep that open. Anytime after our meetings on Thursdays, if there's any major changes, we will try to get it onto the website as well as the Facebook page and get our signs out there, letting everybody know. Yeah, those were two of the best purchased things in the city, those two signs.
Yeah, super helpful.
And the stripe on the asphalt helps too.
Yeah.
For stop.
That the stripe, well, the stripes really actually help you see what's there and what it feels a lot better driving it with the stripes on. It's kind of guides.
What's the word on the tie-ins to the bypass, like Westfield and there's a couple?
So Westfield, we're working with the developer to get an easement for ingress and egress. And then we are trying, the developers pushing along, but they don't have an exact date, but they're hoping to maybe do one of the next phases. One of the things that's on your agendas tonight is Planning Area 11. They'd hope to maybe do it in conjunction with that, but it really depends on where they're at financially to tie that in. That's not our road. Westfield Road, the end there is not our road between the existing asphalt and the parkway. That's still the developer's property.
Oh, I see.
So
So that's gonna depend on the fire light, basically.
Yeah,
the timing.
yeah. They're hoping, like I said, they're hoping to do something sooner than later because they see the need just as bad as, and they like it. They like that as well. They would do it today if their finances were available to do it. So.
So is there a target date in the horizon to give that road and do the swap over with UDOT?
We're currently right now working with UDOT to get that jurisdictional transfer. We have up to, I believe it's 2 years after the parkway construction is complete to finish those negotiations.
Okay.
So
They have to certify the parkway. Does UDOT have to certify the parkway as complete in compliance?
so there's a development document, a construction development document that Tokerville City signed about, 4 years ago with UDOT. So yes, it does have to meet all of those requirements in that agreement. So there's that. Then that does mean all of their standards and specifications. And there's also a caveat in there as per the approved construction plans that were proposed to UDOT. So
Any more idea when the stoplight's going to be put there at the truck stop? Did that get permitted?
the last thing that was holding that up was the approval of putting the correct head that UDOT requires. That would be the lights that come out and hang over. There's a head on top of those stoplights. The construction plans didn't show the correct head. But from what I understood from UDOT is that they said as long as the consultant will change that, we'll give them a green light to start putting it in. And the contractor said once they get green light, it's a month and a half before it will be, they said they can get it installed that quick. So they'll probably work with, if we're still there, they'll probably start working with that other stoplight that we have, that temporary. We'll probably move that in and maybe a little bit to the north. It just depends.
So I ran into a situation coming in today with that. We still had a green light to go on the one-way light and a truck coming off from the
Hall Road.
Hall Road, not even the main road,
Uh-huh.
came right out in the middle of us.
And went.
Turning left, going towards the freeway, which basically stopped us as traffic. And then the light, we were going there. And so there's a situation there. Have you asked any sheriff department or?
Yeah, we've asked the sheriffs. We did that on the south end as well with the stop sign. He goes over there and sits for a little bit early in the morning. He also sits there in the afternoon. I've seen him twice there, and I've seen him once over at the top there. He's been sitting both at the Hall Road and also the new Highway 91, which is 1700 North, I think. So
This truck could have waited when the stoplight hit. right behind us, and
It's
then we were talking.
behavior of people. We can't have somebody there 24/7, unfortunately,
I understand that.
but I agree. And that's, it's interesting to see. It's once you get off the freeway, it's 35 miles an hour until you get to the top of the hill. I see everybody doing, even if you're sitting in the line of queue of cars, I see everybody just take off and they do 60 miles an hour after they get the green light through the construction zone, and it's not a safe scenario. So the big thing is, I think, is getting it's education to people. Watch the stop sign or the speed limit signs, follow them. That's all we can do there. And then, yes, we will have police enforcement there as well. So I think for the most part on the south, people are stopping.
Yeah.
Some of them,
Most of them don't just blow through it. I've seen a few that slow down and don't quite stop, but I stop. There's a stop bar, and there's stop bars for people to stop at, which.
No, there's a stop where I stopped. I saw Dodge just now fly through it when I come up. But pickup, he didn't even try.
I watched semi trucks take out every one of the cones around that. I've seen, a guy with a triple. It's funny to watch. Behavior of people's driving. It's amazing.
Anything else?
That's all I've got, unless anybody else
Do you
has.
have any questions from Darren?
I just had a question from one of my neighbors about the Tocqueville or the Westfield Park.
So you see the public works guys are out there right now. They're doing grading. So we're trying to get that graded. The prices we had were amazingly high for grading. So we've got our guys out there with a old dozer, and they're reading the stakes. So they're doing a decent job. We just want the drainage to work so that the lawn doesn't die. And so we're going to continually, slowly apply the monies that we have and build different things there. I think didn't they say they'd ordered the 4 small pavilions? Our public works guys will install those as well.
Okay.
And then there's a bigger one that obviously in the middle, I think that's going to be contracted out, but and there's some concrete work that they'll get done. I would say here between now and the end of the year, we'll get it to the point where we can start laying grass and on that one on the west side, as well as getting some pavilions and making things a little bit better there. I know they're trying to get the paver stones that people paid for etched and get those installed as well. So
Do you have a timeline on the drop-in on Old Church and the riprap when that was happening? And is that happening through the city
that's the drip wrap on the side, on the north side.
on the north side?
That's JD and the guys are doing that. So I'm not exactly sure. I can ask though.
Okay.
And find out. Yeah. They're trying to redo that culvert and the area drain down there.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Anything else? Okay, thank you, Darren.
Yep.
Okay, we'll go to business item 3. Number 1, discussion and possible recommendation on a zone change application submitted by Raymond and Kathy Bentz for 1816 South Shangri-La, tax ID T-168-G, currently zoned as multi-use, MU20, and the proposed zoning is A1 district. This is kind of a catch-22, so Emily, you want to explain this one?
Yeah. Yep, this is item number 1 and 2, our step 1 and 2 of bringing these properties into compliance, which was part of the requirement of city council for the nightly rental application that you saw for the Benz's property. So this one covers this bottom lot down here. We have to change the zoning on this one because both of these lots are out of compliance with the minimum lot size for the zone that they are now. MU 20 is a 20-acre minimum lot size. So this zone change takes the, here's the old boundary right here and moves it down here. That's what the lot line adjustment is going to do. And then we want to change the parcel that comes from that lot line to agricultural because the minimum lot size in the A1 district is 1 acre. So they'll be above that, but they'll be in compliance. And then his main property will also be in compliance. It also brings the solar panels that he has, can't see them on here, but they were splitting the lot line there. So that brings that all onto his original property. And the radio tower, which was very close to the lot line, brings that further away. So these are all kind of little steps, incremental steps to bring that property into compliance. The general plan does designate this area as agricultural, so this zone change is in compliance with the general plan. The only thing that we recommend, if you do approve it, is that the approval be contingent on it being this new lot rather than the old one, because we don't want a portion of this lot to be agricultural. So they're kind of running together concurrent, these two applications. So the standards for review for a zone change were on your agenda item sheet. I can pull those up if you want me to. So those are the things that we'll review to make sure that this zone change is compliant, including the general plan and the needs of the community. So I think that covers this one, unless you have any other questions for me, or there's representatives here if you prefer to ask them.
So does everybody understand? Doing a zone change with the next item, doing a lot line adjustment that brings it into compliance of the 1 acre minimum for agricultural, and then puts his other MU 20 up to 20 acres instead of this, I believe 16 or something it was originally,
Close to that.
and brings that into compliance. And then also ties his improvements of the solar panels and then the part of the tower and the tower height that we've been trying to get straightened out. And these were all contingencies of their approval of their B&B, what do you call it?
Nightly rental
The nightly
application.
rental, yeah.
And so then they've also can put the fire hydrant in necessary to comply with that. So it's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then they will still have to come back, Emily, and get a
Conditional use permit for the radio tower.
get a variance for the radio tower. Any questions? Okay, then I will open it up for public comment. Let me get back to the right thing.
Yeah, let's do a motion to enter the public hearing if we're going to open the public hearing portion.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion for business item EA, public hearing. Public input is sought for a zoning change application submitted by Raymond and Kathy Vance for 1863 South Shangri-La, tax ID number T-168-G, currently zoned as multi-use M-20, and proposed zone is A1 district.
Just a correction, I think you said 1863, 1816, just to verify.
Thanks for catching that.
1860.
Yeah.
Okay,
116.
yeah. Do we have a motion to open public hearing?
Have we traditionally
second.
opened public hearings with a motion?
I think we should open a public hearing with a motion because it's
Okay.
a form of an action being taken. I think we should open and close.
Okay.
I move that we open a public hearing.
I second it.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing. Do we have anybody that wants to speak on this item right now? Would they please stand up and identify themselves? Going once, going twice. Okay, we have a motion to close public hearing.
Second. I so move.
Motion, we have a second to close.
Second.
We got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so Do we have a motion on this item?
I move to recommend approval of the zone change application submitted by Raymond and Kathy Benz for 1816 South Shangri-La, tax ID T-168-G, changing the zoning from multiple use MU20 to agricultural A1 district with the condition that the zone change applies to the parcel as it will exist following the lot line adjustment, contingent on that adjustment receiving approval and being recorded.
I second that motion.
We got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All not in favor? Motion carries. Sorry about that. Okay, we will go to business item E2, discussion of possible approval of a lot line adjustment application submitted by Raymond and Kathy Benz for tax ID T-163-C-1-A plus T-168-G. So you could just
Yep.
continue on with the,
Yeah, this is part two. This is the record of survey that they submitted. As you could see on your agenda item sheet, our code only calls to make sure that no new dwelling or house will result from the exchange of title, and that the exchange of title does not result in a violation of the zoning requirements. So that's why we did the zone change first. So there's already an existing house here. We're moving the lot line. It's not changing which parcel the homes are on. State code does require that with the record of survey that a conveyance document is recorded, so a deed changing ownership. And so we want to make sure that your motion is contingent upon them submitting that conveyance document to us, and that it being approved by staff and the planning commission chair prior to being recorded. And that is what will really solidify the approval of the lot line adjustment.
so does that mean you go through it and review it and then okay it?
Yes.
And then it's still their responsibility to take it down to Washington County
And record
to
it.
get it recorded?
Actually, we will do that. Still.
You
We can
will?
bring it with
We verify that and take it down to record it or to file it, make sure it's filed.
Okay.
But we don't have that document yet. It's what we will require. They just wanted to get the actual boundary adjustment approved by you first.
So do they have a deadline on how long to get that document to you?
You can set a deadline.
Good.
So the statute that she's referring to, it just requires that the land use authority approve the conveyance document at the time that the boundary line adjustment is approved. So you could set a deadline on that. There's no deadline in the statute, but you certainly could set one.
But it's beneficial for them to follow through so they get it done so as soon as possible.
Yeah. And city council has to see the zone change too. So
So
yeah, as soon as possible after that.
it would be pretty quick. Okay. Is it just because they're waiting for the surveyor or something, or?
They have the record of survey is finished. It's just not complete until you guys
Oh, okay.
make the motion
Oh,
or
okay.
in the city council.
Okay. So it's just
So the documents exist.
the document.
Yeah, the only document that doesn't exist at the moment is the conveyance document, which isn't required by our city ordinances, but it's required by state code.
Okay.
So you guys will actually approve this instead of recommending approval. And you'll just make that a condition of your approval that they submit the conveyance document and that it's approved by city staff and the planning commission chair.
Okay. Okay, so any discussion from any of the planning commissioners? Questions? Okay, do we have a motion?
Everything looks in order to me, so I move to approve the lot line adjustment application for parcels T-163C1A and T-168G contingent upon city council approval of the associated zone change for the parcel and upon contingent on their submission of the conveyance document as approved by city staff and the planning commission chair.
I second it.
Okay, we got a second?
I
Yeah.
just did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 3. Discussion of possible approval, item 3, discussion of possible approval of lot widths and size on a MPDO modification application and site plan for residential planning area 11 within Firelight MPDO.
Yep, so this is another site plan which modifies the development agreement. We're required to submit these site plans for each planning area as they want to try to parcel them out. This is residential planning area 11. So your role in, as you remember from the last one, is to approve the lot widths and sizes. And this one looks a little different than the last one we saw. It does have larger lots. This is Westfield over here, like we were talking about. So just to kind of put into perspective where we are. And this is the existing Almond Heights subdivision at the bottom here. This is a commercial planning area here on either side of Westfield. And then this is the subdivision they're looking to approve. So if you reviewed them for lot widths, remember the minimum lot width is 50 feet in that policy that we passed. So I don't know if you have any questions for me, or we have a representative from the firm that prepared this and from Firelight on Zoom.
Compare that 50-foot width to one of the existing neighborhoods in Tokerville. What would that look like?
I think our smallest frontage right now is 80 feet.
Okay.
So that would be 30
you-
feet smaller.
So one of the things you can see in comparison right there, you can see on the bottom of the sheet on that one exactly,
Uh-huh.
is you can see the existing lots of Almond Heights.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the half acre area. They are a little bit wider on some, not very much different. So they're doing a transition from the half acre to their sizes there to would be the west. So top of the map is west. So you can kind of see those, like I say, those lot lines of the existing lots and the proposed new ones. And it does get smaller, but they have a myriad of mixed sizes through this one to kind of mimic what Almond Heights is.
These smaller ones here are still 14,000 square feet, so that's bigger than our quarter acre. All of these that are bordering an R120 zone would have to also be 20 acre or 20,000 square feet minimum. That's a part of the development agreement. And they're more than that.
Okay.
And so this is very similar to the PA, the planning area number 6 that came through. And these are not solidifying, but they are actually, as per the development agreement, they're calling out and giving it greater detail to what they can do.
City Council will see it next, and then we'll go through verifying open space and any amenities and make sure that they're giving us what they need to get their bonus density and base density. This is just a review for you to make sure the lot sizes are compliant.
Yeah, as Emily said, your review is just limited to lot sizes and widths. This will go to council and they'll do a lot more extensive of a review. But as far as what your code calls for, it's just lot sizes and widths. That's what you guys approve.
Okay, well, I'm never shy of asking questions, and I asked this one before. This, I will require at a point that Westfield's finished to tie into the bypass. Will they still block off Westfield subdivision, or will they tie it together? And is that part of the plan? And economics will always say when this will happen, I know, and things like that, but you're also tying into existing roads up there. I went and drove all this and looked at it all. And then to the north, you're tying into existing road that the city has for the Westfield development. So
Yes.
how soon do you think that will tie in to?
So, I mean, I see Stephen's online as well. I'm Jeff Thomas with American Consulting and Engineering. They can speak to the financial side and add into that, but I believe the intention is to develop just the asphalt portion of Westfield Road for the time being, and the commercial zones on either side will take care of the curb and gutter later on. But the intent is to connect it. They do need it to tie in for one of their entries. They have phase 1 that has one of 2 entries there, and I think that's a grassy lane.
Yes.
So those are the 2 entries they need for the first phase. And that is the intent, and we can work through with the city staff and make sure that we're meeting the city standards and everything's working to what the city staff wants to see as well.
And this is Stephen Wood with Firelight. And as far as timing, we're looking at trying to begin this and finalize Westfield's connection within the next 12 months. Obviously, this is step one of that process, and then we'll be moving forward from there. There is some work right now being done to figure out how to speed up that process potentially with the city. But as far as to have a finished asphalt road, we're looking at probably 12 months out.
Thank you. So when you go through this process and stuff, and you get your final approval for these sites and stuff, how soon do you anticipate start moving dirt and dust?
Within the next 12 months.
Okay, same time period?
Same time period, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the planning commissioners? Any comments? This is the first phase of many phases of reviews that we'll go through at city staff and the city council. But we have to start this phase to go through. This was approved in the development agreement.
So in the development agreement, there's different planning areas that were designated, both residential and commercial planning areas. This is the next step to identify overall site plans in those areas. Those areas are based on the densities that they got in the development agreement. So nothing's changing with the development agreement with densities and things like that. They only have that. Now they have to come back and with each planning area, distinguish of how much open space, how much amenities, different things like that, how many trails. And that's what they did with planning area 6 a few months ago. This is planning area 11. And here in this short time, we'll probably get another planning area, which is one of the commercial planning areas. So that's not yet before us or you guys, but that's going to be the process because we need to know kind of what their plan is for each one of those. The planning area number 1, I think it is planning area 1, is where the existing subdivision is right now. But with that, they needed to come back in and give us this kind of detail of the site plan. And as you see the darker lines, those are the phase lines as within each planning area.
Break it up.
So you're going to probably see over the next few months, you're probably going to see some more of these as they nail down the details of the development agreement.
So the engineering and design for the utilities are pretty much will come in and tie into existing within a similar pattern and within a close proximity?
Yeah, so the next thing, let's say they wanted to go and do phase 1 of this. They would come in with the preliminary plat, just like our subdivision ordinance requires through state code, state statutes. They'd come in for preliminary plat on this. We would talk about the Westfield Road, what that needs to do. Then also the 2 connections, because they have more than, I don't know if they have more than 20 lots in phase 1 or not, but they need 2 accesses, all the different things. And then we would need construction plans. We would need all of the different things to make sure they're staying in compliance with the hillside, with the slopes, all the different things that we do in a set of construction plans for the phase 1. And I think they're planning on doing construction plans for the whole entire areas, and then they'll just come in and as they do each phase. But isn't that correct?
That's correct.
So yeah, that way when you do construction plans for the entire area, it makes sure that drainage works from the top end down to the bottom end, that you're not just planning just for phase 1 and you're not looking at off-site drainage. You're not looking at the things that they need to be. So they're so far they've been really responsible, and it's turning into something decent. So
I'm not understanding CPA 6 and 7, those are commercial zones?
CP stands for commercial planning area.
Okay.
And then just planning areas for the residential PA.
Okay.
And in the original development agreement, PDO approval, nothing's changed in that, but it's just, these are items that were required to be put on there. And so they're coming in now and giving greater detail of what these planning areas look like, rather than just identifying them as a bubble on a map. Because that's kind of what they are right now on that overall map. It's just, there's not the detail. And this is giving the greater detail for each planning area.
So clarification, is this got some age restrictions, or is this just opened up for all people?
This one here is not a, right?
No, this one, the only,
The,
Stephen can correct me if I'm wrong, but I
Yeah,
prefer the
the-
active adult area or adult areas over in near the city center, what's being built right now. This is just single family residential.
Yeah, so planning area 1, which is where there already has been some development, is the only active, at the moment, the only active adult area throughout all of Firelight. And right now we're planning on it being right around 1,200 ERUs. And like Darren said, we'll be submitting a similar, an MPDO modification on that one by the end of this week or the beginning of next. And we're playing catch up a little bit with that one because this process wasn't in place when we started on planning area 1. And so we'll be submitting that to dot our I and cross our T, and make sure that everything matches up as we've planned. So this will be single family, and our intent right now through Firelight is everything else will be single family use, and the only active adult within planning area 1. That may change as time goes on, but for right now, that's what we're planning on.
Am I counting that right? You've got about 222 single-family units there, is that?
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, and our intent as the developer is to develop those out in about 20 lots at a time, right around that. And to see how the demand goes is what we're planning on.
So are you guys planning on putting some reduced apartments or condos in this area or the next phase?
No. So because of the proximity to Tocqueville City and what has been placed, PA 11, we cannot put apartments there. We are looking at apartments inside of commercial planning area 6 and 7, which you can see right there. And that's the designation for those areas would be more apartments and higher density. But inside of PA 11, this is strictly single family residential homes.
and they will come in just similar to what they're doing on this one for those
Yeah.
areas as well, and give greater
Yes.
detail of what's going to be done there.
For every
That's-
single area, you'll see another one of these site plans.
Understood. Okay. Any other questions, planning commissioners? Clarification?
Give you a little historical data on this,
What's that?
a little historical data on this area. I was chairman of the planning commission when this first came through.
Okay. Do you want to give us some?
Yeah, if you would. Dan Catlin, 21 South Peach Street. When this area was first proposed, it was one of the drivers as well as one up on the other end of town where it was R120 and they were coming in with smaller than R120. And that's when the planning commission put in N15C 5E, which requires a buffer. If you're going to come in and try to put smaller lots against an existing subdivision, you have to have a buffer zone, whether it be a park or other size lots that size or greater, and then change over from there to not have a negative impact on the existing citizens. This was actually one of the first ones that was supposed to be done, and was one of them that was brought up with the trails and parks in this for the local citizens to use. So the only thing I don't quite understand is there was a traffic plan done on this back in the day that showed the connection to Westfield, which carried off this. So I don't know how that connection dropped off when the traffic plan was already done on it. So, okay.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns?
So you're saying, Dan, that the original idea was to have some park in between the Almond Heights neighborhood. Is that?
No. It's probably the same, what they did here, put these bigger lots down in the lower.
Okay.
Yeah, they match.
The development agreement requires an R120 buffer where it borders any existing R120. So
Okay.
those bigger lots on the outside, they border R120 lots.
Right.
So they're complying with the development agreement and creating that buffer
Okay.
that's called for.
I see.
Yeah, you see that.
Thank you.
And they did that. And they're in
Yeah.
compliance.
They're doing that.
Okay. Do we have a motion for a recommendation to the city council?
Based on my understanding of the standards and the restrictions that we have, this meets what we have on the books. And so I move that we approve the proposed lot sizes and widths submitted with the MPDO modification application and site plan for residential planning area 11 within the Firelight MPDO based on the consistency with the adopted MPDO ordinance and applicable restrictions.
That's a
I second it.
second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay, we will move on to item 4, discussion possible approval of the sign permit application submitted by Clovis Signs on behalf of Sinclair's Company.
So Clovis Sign submitted this application. It's separate from the one you already saw for the rest of SAP. So Sinclair is going to be providing the gasoline for the truck stop. SAP only provides the diesel. So they came in, the canopies are already built, and they wanted to submit signage to put on those canopies. This is the third version I think that we landed on. I went back and forth with them to get them as close as possible to compliant with our sign ordinance. But we're still going to recommend denial just based on the fact that it's too large and they already have too many signs approved. So they will require a variance on this one again if they can prove hardship. But just wanted to bring this before you. You do have to issue in denial and to show you what they've been working on. There are two versions that look very similar. This one, I believe, is the larger. So our code requires that the logo only take up 25% or less of the sign. This is the large version that they submitted. And if you count the entire canopy as one sign, they're compliant. If you count each face of the canopy as a sign, then they are not compliant. So they submitted a smaller version where they shrink those down, and then total, it's less than 25%. Their request was that I put both in front of you, and it is something that you could determine if you want, which size you want to go, just because our code is a little bit, in my opinion, not clear on that. So it just depends on which look you prefer and if you think that either side should be counted separately. We also have, so their pumps are in here as well. These, according to the code, are exempt from a permit as long as they comply with the rest of the sign code. They don't, as they sit now. They need to be no white. They need to be neutral colored. So they're still working on the design on that, but that will just come through me. If they can't come into compliance with it, then it will have to go to the appeal authority as well. And then this sign has already been approved, this monument sign, as a part of the Sapp Brothers sign permit, but they just wanted to show that they're matching colors, and they're just putting an insert in there for Sinclair, so that is also exempt from the permit. So something to decide today is which logo sizes we prefer, and then make a decision so that they know if they have to go for a variance or not.
You want to explain that they can't be white like their standard signs? Why?
Our code just says that white is only allowed for lettering. So background has to be neutral colors. And then it also says that primary or secondary colors should only be used for 10% or less of the sign. So we're working on the design of this just to make sure that this highly saturated green is taking up less of the sign. And they've got some of these other, this was their design to begin with. So it's less saturated here. That, in my opinion, is compliant. It's just the white that they have to work with. So they're looking at the design to see if they can match it to the canopy. They said that they had to do a permit very similar to this. Actually, they used the same design, these same colors, for another city that required them to have a neutral color. So it's not the first of its kind. But what they originally submitted was their normal branding with the half white and half green, and then the Sinclair and the dinosaur on there.
I have a question. I hope it doesn't sound stupid. Why can it only take up 25% when it's such a long, I guess, canopy?
That's just a requirement of the code.
It's how the code's
It doesn't
written.
give them.
Yeah, I know it's the code.
Well, that
I-
original code was more designed for this downtown area to
Yeah,
maintain
yeah.
historic integrity.
Okay.
So the whole code kind of needs to be overhauled to,
Yeah, I think
to
we
be
took-
more.
I think in this
Reasonable
particular
for this
instance,
type
it
of
could be
application.
bigger. Yeah,
That's,
so I guess
that
you'd
would be
have
a
to change the
decision for the
code.
appeal authority. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as
Yeah.
far as what we can do today, we can look at it and say, does it comply with our signage ordinance? And to
Which
the
it
extent that it doesn't, right? There's aspects of it that do. So the color, for instance, we could approve, but we can't approve this whole thing carte blanche because it doesn't apply. It doesn't comply with our signage ordinance. As far as whether the signage ordinance should be amended, I think that's a really good point you bring up. There's some things that seem like they should be changed.
Yeah, that's
But-
why I brought it up, because I
Yeah.
thought, well, it doesn't comply, so why are we talking about it then? So that's why I thought I'd ask the question.
And another thing, just to make note of, is that we are currently looking at the sign ordinance and because of the last signs in that area.
Yeah.
So we are working on that and hope to have something here in the next few months in front of you guys.
There's
That's true.
something to be said, I think, for how the sign ordinance is written now. If you look at communities like Springdale, they've got very tight sign ordinances, and that's because they want it to look a certain way. These businesses are willing to work with us to comply with our permitting requirements for the most part. There are some things like sign size and height that definitely don't work out there. But this original one that they submitted to me is compliant. I mean, they're taking up far less than 25% of
Yeah.
this side of the sign. And that's what they submitted to me.
I like the coloring on it too.
I think it'll look nice.
No, and I don't want to hold them up because we want
Yeah.
that thing opened up.
Yeah.
And to get the signs, we're waiting another meeting, and that's just ridiculous. So this first one you have up there is in compliance, the colors within, I see the little Sinclair and the little whatever towers are a little bit smaller.
That's really small.
None of them, they're too big.
They're all too big.
They're all too
None
big.
of them are in compliance,
So
but
we
you do
to
have to issue
deny-
a decision.
Yeah.
As far
Regardless,
as-
because of.
As far as what motion could be on the table for tonight, so you could approve a portion, you could approve the colors, the color scheme, but as far as other aspects of the application that don't comply, you have to deny the application. And then the applicant will be responsible for appealing to the appeal authority. That's how
Well,
it
he'll
will
have to
work.
go in and ask the other guy to give a
Submit a
variance,
variance, yeah.
another process.
So
So
one,
does it have to come back in front of us once he okays the variance?
He can choose to, like last time he came and explained like the permit, he doesn't need to do that. It's kind of unconventional, but he can.
Yeah, we just want to streamline it, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to streamline it, and I think it's ridiculous that we're corporate companies that have sick colors and everything else, that we're picking them to death. We're supposed to be helping them. They pay tax dollars, and we're supposed to be helping them get open, not delay it. So.
the only
just,
thing I would ask it, unless you disagree, Kayla, is that the code doesn't clarify whether the whole canopy is a sign or each side. So Sinclair wants you to decide if you want to send, which version you want to send to the appeal authority, with the larger logo or with the smaller logo. If you're fine with it being more than 25%,
So-
then it doesn't.
What's the material of that sign?
We can-
Is it metal? Is it cloth?
It's a plastic composite.
Plastic composite, okay.
Mhm.
So if
I'm
you
not
can,
So
if you,
I'll tell you just off the cuff, my interpretation, so I'll read you canopy sign, what it says. So a sign which is a structure made of cloth, metal, or other material with frames affixed to the building and carried by a frame which is supported by the ground. Canopy sign shall be considered an awning sign for purposes of these regulations. So to me, just my initial reading of that, I think the whole thing, that's your sign. That's my gut feeling. I understand that it could be ambiguous. But to me, it seems like the entire plastic, if it's one piece of plastic composite that goes on that building, then it's probably one sign. If it's like, I understand why it could be ambiguous, like I said, but that's my initial take on that.
It's exactly like what you see everywhere else as far as a canopy you pull under there. And, you see the sign. It's basically a flat sign.
Sap Brothers did submit canopy signs for their diesel canopy. And in the packet, it was one side at a time.
It's eliminated.
That helps.
It's eliminated from the back?
It is, yeah. So I put on there that I think,
That's
I
not
asked them
going
for
to
more
be-
lighting details. They said it's shielded, but
It makes a difference how much it glows.
It does.
yes, that will be considered separately.
But aren't we also looking at how many signs are allowed on the property as well? Isn't that part
There's
of it?
limitations on
That's
signs.
what I put in there too, yeah. It's 2 per, so they're already well
Well
above
over
that.
that.
That's why they got the variance.
And
So
we-
as
that
far
would
as
be part
portions
of
of the
it.
application that are clearly in compliance, I mean, to the extent that they've complied with our color requirements, I think we could approve that. But the rest of it, I think, if there's any question, we probably recommend that you deny it.
So I'm having a hard time deciding which one's the smaller one. So this one or the one 3 down with the Sinclair with the gas station picture, is that the bigger sign?
So
one are the
they
two?
look exactly the same. So this one I have up on the screen is the large one, and here's the small one. So it just shrinks the lettering ever so slightly. So this one takes up 9% of this side, and the dino icon takes up 0.63%. So on the large sign, this takes up 15%. So it goes up by 6% each sign. There's not a huge difference.
So they're,
Just square footage of the logo.
but they're still staying in somewhat of a dark sky. If they are not.
Well,
We're not here to decide which one we like though, because they're both, I mean,
Well, they're asking for a preference.
well,
when they
I
go
like
to
the larger
appeals.
lettering
I do too.
personally.
I like the larger
I
lighting
don't
sign.
know that we can really make that decision for them. I think that they can,
Just say it's in compliance with the colors.
yeah, I think we can just say it's in compliance with the colors. As far as just my initial take on whether these canopy signs are 3 different signs or one, I'm inclined to say 1. But I think that's probably the extent of
So it's a
the
little less.
guidance that
These
we
lights
can
here
give
will
them.
be brighter than-
Yeah, I appreciate your interpretation because I feel like it lets the person making the sign have a little bit more freedom of
You could
design.
actually go out there and see them.
And also larger letters are more legible for me.
They're
Larger's
flush.
better.
So if you think,
It's easier to read.
if you think they're all one sign, then they have to choose the smaller letter.
Yeah, they're gonna have to go
That
with
is-
smaller
yeah, that
letters
is
if it's
true.
one sign. In my mind, they're different signs because if
So-
they're on one
Understanding
side of the
that wrong.
canopy, you don't see the other side.
There's different content on each side.
Whatever interpretation allows them the most freedom and liberty, that is the interpretation.
I agree with that.
Then they need to be considered separate signs, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, so we have a motion.
I don't know
Yeah,
what
where
we're.
to start?
They
I
told
move
us-
that we deny the application just because it doesn't meet the signage.
Yeah, I
I
might make
second
one
it.
suggestion. We might do 2 separate motions. So we might
Okay.
make a motion to approve the color scheme on the signs that do comply. And Emily, I might need your help wording that a little better.
Well,
And then,
this is the sign they're looking at, so the color
Okay.
schemes comply.
okay.
That's. I think
So we'll
that's all
approve,
really-
you guys can approve to the color scheme, but then as far as all other aspects of the application, deny it.
Okay, so I move that we approve the color scheme of the compliant elements of the signage, but deny the application based on the elements that it doesn't comply with.
Yeah, we might want to state it like 2 separate motions. So I approve the
Okay.
color scheme. Further, I also make a motion to deny the remainder of the application.
Okay.
Sorry to make
Move
it
that we
complicated for
approve the
you.
color scheme,
Okay.
and I separately move that we
But we have to
deny.
vote on the first one.
Let's do the
Okay.
first.
Yeah, let's vote on that first motion.
I need to ask a yes or no question to quick succession.
We have a-
I second. Yeah, I second the
We
first
got a
one.
motion and a second on the color scheme of the sign. All in favor?
Aye.
And do we have another motion?
Go, Jenny. You got it.
Gun shy now. I move that we recommend, or that we deny it,
Recommend
that we
that
deny this application based on the elements that don't comply with our signs.
I second it.
A second?
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, well, thank you. We have a motion to adjourn as far as.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending.
Right.